Welcome to Cambridge University Library Storage Facility. My name is Robin James and I'm the Head of Collection Logistics and Services. Normally this time of year we undertake open Cambridge tours so that people living locally can come and have a look behind the scenes in various buildings around the county. Obviously because of COVID-19 those aren't now going ahead, so we thought we would do a video tour for anyone who's interested. Now normally when we do these tours we follow the journey of the book through the system. So we start in the loading bay, which is where we are now, and follow the book through all the way to the shelf. So that's what we're going to do now. Because we lend material back to Cambridge, we have material coming in for the first time and material going out on loan. And in order to stop that material getting mixed together, we tend to keep all of the incoming material on the left of this room, on this side of the yellow line, and all of the outgoing material on the other side of the room. And in order to make life much easier, we use colour-coded crates. So each colour of crate goes to a different department or area of the library back in Cambridge. And then when that material comes back, we know exactly where it's come from, and it enables us to keep good stock management. So now we'll go through into the next section. Part of the reason of opening this store was to ease overcrowding in libraries in Cambridge, and in order to ease that we had lots of material in external storage, in third-party storage facilities. So when this store opened we brought in a huge amount of material over a very short space of time. In the chamber, which we'll see shortly, you'll see that all the material we hold is stored in cardboard trays. Now, these cardboard trays are acid-free and lignite-free and have nylon handles, and each carries a unique barcode. When these trays are delivered to us, they look like this. And one of the staff roles is to turn this into this. And we have a variety of sizes, the smallest of which is this one, going all the way up to this one, which holds the largest of the material in the store. During the early part of the ingest, we needed to make one of these trays every 90 seconds to keep up with the incoming material. And if we weren't able to do that, we would very quickly fall behind. So we had staff constantly making trays. When the stock comes through from the storage area, we have to sort it by size and then store it in the selection of trays. And we've got an example of how that's done over here. So typically speaking, the benches work in two U-shapes, and normally this room would be a hive of activity teeming with staff, but because of the COVID-19 there's currently nobody here. So we can see exactly how it was left on the last day when we shut down. Material is packed into the trays here on the left-hand side of the bench, and then it's worked through the warehouse management system. Every tray is weighed around to this side before going to a quality control loop, where again the contents of every tray are rechecked to make sure that nothing extra has gone in and nothing has come out. Each book in the tray has a unique barcode. The tray, as mentioned before, has a unique barcode, and then when we go next door into the chamber, you'll see each shelf has a unique barcode. So the alignment of those three barcodes is how we track where the material goes. Cambridge University Library is a legal deposit library, which means it's entitled to receive a copy of every book published in the UK for commercial distribution. And what that means is we have a big variety of material here, ranging from toy books, such as this one with a fold-out runway and a clockwork book, through to early 19th century academic works, which the print copy is no longer required in Cambridge, but which we can't dispose of. We are obliged to keep those forever. And what that means is you'll find these sorts of books alongside each other in the trays, which makes for a very interesting collection. We've also got a nice tin Disney item there, which came earlier in the year. And this material was received by the library in mid-March and would normally be in the facility within a week to 10 days. The material, once it goes onto the warehouse management system, is then tracked through the process using these handheld computers. We scan the barcode on the tray, and we then scan the barcode on the trolley or the shelf, and the system keeps a track of where everything is, so that we always know at any point where every individual title is. So once we've gone through this process, As I mentioned, we weigh the items, they then go onto various trolleys. Now in the warehouse, the lower shelving can be accessed by people physically themselves without vehicles, and they take these blue manual trolleys with them. For the heavier, larger material that's going to go higher up in the store, we use these large metal trolleys which fit onto powered pallet trucks, because these can certainly reach a ton in weight and are impossible to move without the truck. And once the truck is full, we then take it round and shelve it into the store. So, welcome to the chamber. As you can see, it's quite large, 100 metres to the wall at that end, and then down each aisle, 50 metres to the opposite wall. The shelving is 11.5 metres tall, contains 27 shelves, and we have 24 aisles. At one end we have some dedicated map storage, but apart from the very first block of shelving, the shelving configuration is the same throughout the warehouse for storing the same items, the same size items throughout. Largely speaking, the smallest items are down at the bottom, which is mostly the legal deposit fiction items, ranging all the way up to the very top, where we typically keep the heavier, larger material such as the newspapers. In the middle is the size 3 material, is the most commonly published size, so typically speaking the warehouse contains considerably more of that than anything else. The lighting is all automatic, it comes on as we move through the building, and as I mentioned earlier, each item carries a unique barcode, each tray carries a unique barcode, and each shelf has an individual barcode. We track the material through the alignment of those 3 barcodes, and we'll always know where it is. And with the handheld computers, every time we take something off here, we scan all the barcodes as we go. As I mentioned before as well, because this is a legal deposit collection, we'll often have academic material alongside non-academic material. But all the material contained here is low use, and being removed from libraries in Cambridge to free up space which can be retasked for extra readers, social areas, or simply to allow collections to be respaced and to improve the currency of those collections. So we might take out lower use material in order to bring in newer stock to replace it. The warehouse has 130 kilometres of linear shelving. Each shelf contains about 9 linear metres, and we're spec'd to hold about 5.5 million items. We currently hold about 1.1 million items, so we're just a shade under a quarter full. During the height of our project Ingest, we were bringing out 15,000 items a day, and we've used about 30 kilometres of the space. Depending on how fast we bring material out, we should have about 15 to 20 years of storage space, which will allow us to make another 100 or so kilometres of space back in Cambridge to free up collections there. We access the collections both on foot and by using these machines. The manual handling high-lop machine. The trolley fits onto the back of the machine, and the driver, the cab and the trolley all go up to 11 metres. Embedded in the floor of the warehouse are RFID chips, which are a health and safety feature and limit the speed of the vehicles, limit how high the cabs can rise out of aisle, and basically add an extra dimension of health and safety for the driver. For people on foot in the chamber, we obviously don't want vehicles and people down the same aisles. Every time someone goes down an aisle on foot, they simply draw one of these bands across the aisle, sprint down and put the one on the other end, and then that's a visible reminder to any driver that they shouldn't go down that aisle. On each shelf, the trays are configured in exactly the same way, and we number those so that as the tray is taken off, the driver can always put it back in the same place. And as I mentioned earlier, we weigh each tray as well, because we have a spot weight for each shelf within each ladder, which we mustn't exceed. So we have a sprinkler system in the store to protect us for fire. We also have a fire chamber behind me, and any electrical item housed in the store that contains a battery, ranging from the several ton long large vehicles here down to a pager or a mobile phone, if it stays in the store, every single evening we lock everything away in there. We both charge in there, but it protects the institution against fire. This is a 2-hour fire compartment, so if there's a short circuit of some sort and a fire, it's contained within the chamber while the fire brigade can come out. The sprinkler system in this part of the chamber isn't activated if the sprinkler system in the chamber is activated, so the stock is protected. And as I mentioned, because this is a National Archive collection, the books, when they come into the chamber, even if they've been in a classified collection over in one of the libraries in Cambridge, when they come to the library they lose their identity from that classification, and they then stand alongside any other books that have been received under legal deposit. So as I mentioned before, it's certainly possible in a single tray to find children's poetry books sitting alongside a 19th century natural science title. And of course, always make sure we put the stuff exactly where it comes from. Because of that, when an item is taken from the shelves here to be used back in Cambridge, it always returns to the same tray. The space within that tray is custom made. We use all the space in the tray so we don't waste anything, and therefore as a book returns from loan, it always goes back into the same tray. It doesn't have to go back in exactly the same slot, but into the same tray. We don't ever replace books into different locations because we want it to go back into the same place. For the time being, the University Library Storage Facility will continue to support the non-contact services being offered by the libraries in Cambridge, principally scan and deliver. But we look forward to a time when we can revert back to our original function of creating space in libraries across Cambridge to support teaching and learning. We hope you've enjoyed this behind the scenes tour as much as we've enjoyed making it, and we look forward to a time when we can do other guided tours in the future. Should you want any further information about the library or its services, then you should go to the library's homepage or social media outlets. Many thanks for joining us.